I thought I would just talk a little bit about some of the vocal problems that some of our artists and acts that come to us have. So some of the artists that already come to us that have already naturally quite good voices, they've got nice tones, everything about it is doing what it should do. They just have a problem with their vocal longevity. So one of the things we do is take them through like a vocal biology kind of route and show them what's good and what's bad for the voice. One of the main contenders for voices going on tours or in recording studios is diet. So if you know a little bit about the foods and drinks that you should and shouldn't have around your singing time, believe it or not, that can actually make quite a vast difference. It's not going to change your voice, but it can certainly help you keep your voice for that little bit longer. So if we just talk about food, just quickly, in a nutshell, you must have all heard that eating dairy is bad. The reason why eating dairy is bad for the voice is because it's mucus forming. And mucus forming products, they can take between 2 and 7 hours to run past your vocal folds, vocal cords. So you have to think about the food that you're going to take in time management with the time that you're in the studio. So the rule of thumb is don't normally eat anything 2 hours before you're about to perform. And when you are, try and keep it rabbit diet, and that's things like, your salads and even some pastas. I prefer to go for wheat-free pasta because it's quite non-bloating. Your fish, fruit, all that sort of thing is clean and will do you the nutrients that you need to give you the energy to get on with what you've got to do. If you are recording in a studio and you're doing God knows how many takes, that can take energy, and your voice will also need a little bit of help with the direction that it's going to need for how long you're singing. So going back to what I said about dairy, because of the mucus forming, it's going to sit heavy on your vocal cords, vocal folds, and that will create pressure for your singing to try and work. So don't have it, simple. We can talk about the same thing with spicy foods. Spicy foods, and even to a certain extent Chinese food. Spicy, so they're irritant, they can really irritate your vocal folds, and they can certainly dry you out. You might recognise when you are eating Chinese foods or Indian foods that you need fluids quite a lot. So don't have it close to singing. I also prefer the night before you're about to perform to also go rabbit diet, because it can't hurt. You haven't got to let it flush through your system. You haven't got to wait for anything to go through. You just eat what you need to do for 2 hours beforehand and then sing. So there's also monosodium glutamate in the Chinese and Indian foods. And that's actually an illegal ingredient in Australia. But over here, when we just put it in the foods, it makes you thirsty and you want to keep quenching your thirst. But as it dries you out, that's what it does, hence the drinks, your voice gets dried out. So you don't need to have that happening when you're about to go on stage, go on tour, go in the studio, any of that. There are many, many other things, but just in brief, if you think about that, dairy, spicy foods and fatty foods, fad diets, big no-no. And then drinks, you've got your caffeine, of course. If you have tea or coffee, you've got your milk in it, so there's your dairy. Caffeine is a diuretic. If you drink too much of it, you're going to need to replace the fluid somehow, and you're going to need to go to the bathroom quite a lot. So that's how you know it's not doing right for your voice. So don't touch caffeine, don't touch fizzy drinks. There's colouring and there's sugars in it. That is gloopy for your voice. And not only that, the fizziness of the drinks as you're trying to do your breathing technique and your support work with your voice will mean that you'll be burping the whole time you're trying to sing, which is no good for anyone. So do yourself a favour, when you're about to embark on a tour, going in the studio and singing for days at a time, just stick to rabbit diet and water. That's essentially what's going to get you through it. There are other remedies, but if you contact us at AT Music Group, we can show you all the things that can bring your voices back if you've lost it due to too much use of the voice. atmusicgroup.co.uk, you'll find all the answers there. Send us an email.